Center for Disease Control and Prevention article published in 2023 states 35% of female high school students reported persistent sadness or hopelessness. Studies show bullying is a main factor, and another is simply safety concerns. Posters on the wall aren't helping the issue, and telling students to talk to teachers doesn't do the job either. Shouldn't we think of better ideas to help? In this speech, I will inform you on the mental health effects school has on students and how important it is for schools to try and do more to help their students. I hope you guys will support my claim and think more about how we can help. I'm a high school student who strives to advocate for mental health and who enjoys helping students find joy. Along with my personal abilities, I have done research to give accurate information and to help put in perspective how big this issue truly is. Today, I will talk about how the school can help. I will be talking about how mental health is affected in school, how the school can help, and the long-term effect it will have on students. To start, I'd like to talk about how mental health is affected because of school. The CDC Youth Risk Behavior Survey, and published in 2021, states 31.9% of high school students in the U.S. felt sad or hopelessness in 2021, with 11.8% seriously considering suicide, and 6.3% attempting it. Studies show most reasons for this are because of bullying, which can cause depression and anxiety. Depression is a very serious mental challenge that affects many students globally. Students of all ages experience bullying, and it causes harmful damage to their confidence and mental health. If this situation is happening in school, why aren't there more ways to help these students? Most will say, tell an adult or teacher, but those ways won't suffice. Just because a student tells an adult doesn't mean the situation is fixed. There have been many cases where students report telling teachers, and those teachers simply reply that it is tattling. This not only ignores the situation, but possibly makes it worse, and also makes the student feel ignored and unreasonable. Bullying is a very big issue, but others just as big include academic pressure, safety concerns, and lack of support services. Students acquire stress and hopelessness when dealing with academics. Some choose to give up, and some stress so much they become highly anxious about everything school-related. If those students don't have an outlet, how are they supposed to release and find ways to fix the issue? More recently, these statistics are currently going up. One article published in 2023 said in 2013 about 30% of students reported sadness, which rose to 40% in 2023. The Kaiser Family Foundation published an article in 2023 that found only 18% of students actually use school mental health services, and many schools stated they cannot adequately support students, which moves me into how schools can help and provide support. Some ways schools can help start being more adamant about helping is simply starting to adopt comprehensive approaches like education for teachers, prevention, and direct services. To expand, education for teachers would include becoming certified in mental health first aid. This is an easy and fast way to be able to recognize warning signs in students. Aside from teachers and staff, a way the actual school can help would be implementing a mental health class that could help students be aware of emotions and early signs of mental health disorders. Another way can be schools trying to address bullying more often and include more ways to help students who struggle with academic pressure other than tutoring. Lastly, for schools, they should supply more help and outlets for students. This could include 3 assemblies that would also include knowledgeable speakers who supply help and also provide services that help as well. Now that I have covered how schools can help, I want to include a few ways students, like you guys, can also help. A great way to get students involved is advocating for mental health. Advocating for mental health could be a student-led club or a regular club that is worked around mental health. This would mean the students in the group are able to collaborate and talk to each other. They can have meetings that would include an open session to talk about things students are struggling with and how to help. Additionally, if schools have a homeroom, they can have a day out of the week where students can play games or other activities to increase serotonin levels for the kids. Lastly, I want to talk about how this will have a positive impact on students and the long-term help it will have. With these steps schools can take, the students will learn and be able to confide in other students. They can find new outlets and make new friends. Additionally, students' mental health and knowledge will increase with the extra learning material they are supplied now. This will help them to seek early signs and how to get help. Along with statistics, there could be a possible decrease in depression in students, and we possibly can see anxiety levels go down. This also simply just helps students prosper and believe in themselves in many aspects. If schools adapt these changes, it will be taught in early development and help the kids when they become adults. Now, if you agree and like what I have mentioned today, I would like to see you guys work to help these students or even students in your school. Things you could participate in would include advocating for mental health, reaching out to students, or help when you can. Help spread the word about having more resources in school, and try to talk to your school about having a club for students to collaborate. To end, I would like to share one last article. Suicide is a big problem in our world, and the Kansas legislative article, without publication date or author, states for every suicide among young people, there are at least 100 suicide attempts. Over 14% of high school students have considered suicide, and 4% have attempted it. Those students could be your friend, and they could also be your family member, or even a kid who you thought was completely okay. Will you start to consider these students? Will you help schools provide more resources? Well, with this information I have shared, I hope you will stand for mental health care being provided in schools. Now's the time for questions. Yes.
Do you think this should be provided through all levels of school, such as elementary, middle, and high school?
I think it should definitely be provided in middle school and high school, but for elementary, with the things that I supplied, such as like classes, I think it should definitely be something they are able to get to if they want to, but it doesn't have to be implemented, and they have to just because they're kids, and I don't know if they would be able to recognize what it's about. Any more?
Should adults advocate for mental health in schools?
I think adults should advocate for mental health, especially because it'll be helping their kids, and it also just helps their students as well. And there are a lot of adults, such as teachers in the school, that I think also realize how big mental health is in school, and I think they should also start advocating for it.
What does serotonin mean?
Serotonin is the chemical or the hormone in your brain. Specifically, in my speech, I was using it for mood regulation, so such as anxiety.